Look at that, a new Snazzy Labs office. That's right. Well, this isn't really an office, this is a house that I bought because even though we loved the last space, I mean, we've spent the last 3 years there, it was just getting a little bit difficult. It was downtown, really busy, tons of foot traffic. There was construction going in buildings nearby. Not a great place to run a YouTube studio. And frankly, because we do so many things involving smart tech and home networking and other things, we were often filming at my house in order to get that done. And so I just figured, wait, why don't we just get a house for YouTube? And so that's what we've done. This is the Snazzy Content Mansion. Just kidding, a mansion, it is not. This was built in the late 1950s. It's about 2,000 square feet. As you can see, it has a carpeted garage, so that should give you a preview of what we're gonna be looking at in here. And we have a Sears garage door opener that in order to close, I have to push not just one button, but 2 buttons, because there are no obstacle sensors. Do not go under there, you will get smashed. And watch your step, there's boxes all over the place. All right, come on. Over here, we've got by far the sketchiest, most perhaps period correct room of them all. This is a wood paneled, and no, this is not wood, this is vinyl. A faux wood paneled room that frankly, kind of looks like someone got murdered in here. But we're running our printers, this is gonna be the maker space, and we'll improve the look of this a lot over time. Frankly, that's gonna be the case through the whole house because it needs a lot of work. There's a bunch of old wallpaper that's granny flavored, it's peeling. The carpets are all different colors, literally. There's not a single carpet, like look at this. This is like, what do they call the 4 corners? Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, I don't know. that's this, the 4 corners of carpet. And yeah, but I really like that this was a nice wide open space. This is one of 2 living rooms. And we're gonna build a set in here for a new channel that we've been working on for like quite a long time that I've been very excited about launching, but waiting to launch because I felt like we needed a unique flavor, something that was different from Snazzy Labs. And this space, a whole dedicated set, will enable us to do that. So stay tuned for that. It's not coming next week, it's not coming next month, but it'll come eventually. But this is where I fell in love with the house. And looking at this stuff, you might go, okay, yeah, I can see the potential. This has the potential to be like a mid-century, beautiful type, lounge area. We're gonna build sets in here. What we liked about this is that you have tons of natural light. There's a full bank of windows on this side, floor to ceiling, and same on the other side. There's a cute little patio that we can sit on, but we can build a set in that corner, in this corner, in those corners. We have a pretty fireplace. It just seems like there's a lot of potential here. This is what we like to call the Apple Grove at Apple Park. You see, one of the things we really liked about this place was that it had a real yard. We wanted to shoot outside all the time at the old office. We just couldn't. It was a technical impossibility. There were cars everywhere, there were people. People would stop and ask us questions about what we were doing. We were downtown. Now we're in the suburbs. And I mean, look at this place. The foliage is so mature. We've literally got fresh fruit. Well, a lot of it's rotten on the ground, but like, the flavor's not great. This was clearly redone in the 90s. Look at this countertop. That apple, that's a lot of apple. The appliances, though, are all new. Much of this house is all new. Like, you know the stuff that nobody wants to deal with because it sucks? The roof, the HVAC system, the water softener, appliances. Yeah, this lady, oh, I should tell you, we bought it from a cute little old granny that had lived here for many, many, many years and just, had to go find another place to live. And so she did all of the like technical maintenance stuff that nobody wants to do, and then just decided to do nothing else with the visual appearance of the house at all. So that's great. We'll do that stuff. We'll make it look the way we want and reap the benefit of a new roof and a new HVAC system and more. This is a room that is yet to be determined in purpose. I think what will make it is kind of like a permanent set for podcasting. We can put a PC and a Mac in here, so when I need to do screen recording stuff, I can come in and do it here. I've wanted that for a while. We kind of tried to set it up in the old space and then we got rid of it and repurposed it because we needed more room, but we've got more room here than we did there. So that may well be the purpose of that. We'll find out. Here's my bathroom. That's right, this is a place with 2 bathrooms. This is, yes, a carpeted bathroom, complete with wood seat, but look at that gold hardware. That's very nice. And while I did have the carpets cleaned, I have not taken my shoes off because there's pee in those carpets. And now we get to the last 2 bedrooms, which are probably the least interesting rooms of the house, but the ones in which we will spend the most time, because this is Benjamin's workspace, and then mine over there. This is the primary bedroom. It's got beautiful blue Smurf carpet. I actually kind of like it. It's grown on me. It'll probably still go at some point. Wonderful, wonderful wallpaper, and the worst bathroom of the 2 bathrooms in the house. I told Benjamin, you can have the bigger office because he has more gear, but the exchange is that you need the crappy bathroom, and he accepted, although I'm not sure he had any options to begin with. Anyway, okay, this is my office, and it's by far, I think, the ugliest room of the house. You've got this wonderful solo cup wallpaper. It's complete with boogers. Yeah, someone wiped their nose on this thing, and then there are just holes galore. Someone went ham on this drywall. You can see the wallpaper is peeling off quite literally. Oh, that was a lot more than I wanted to tear off. No, put it back, because I will not be able to afford to fix this for a while. No, go back. Get the double-sided tape. But what I can fix is my desk, because even at the last space, my desk was pretty bad, because cable management, to be honest with you, is pretty freaking hard. I had 2 studio displays, I had 2 HomePods, I had a Mac Studio, and the reality with cable management is you either like Fort Knox it up so that you can never add or remove anything easily ever again with twist ties and all this stuff, or you use a bunch of those cheap little, and I shouldn't say cheap because they're expensive, but crappy little adhesive discs that like clip and unclip. And the reality is those suck, your cables are too heavy, they fall down, and everything turns into a mess after 2 months, and it doesn't look like you spent any time or money cable managing, which you definitely did. I don't want that to happen. And so we are going to fix it in this video, thanks to the wonderful world of 3D printing. Look, I have been a longtime proponent and enthusiast of 3D printing. I mean, there are videos of me on this channel going back a decade of me using extremely rudimentary 3D printers to print very basic parts for DIY projects. But even though the technology has come a long way, it hasn't been until the last couple years that I've really recommended regular people go out and buy a 3D printer. Because for a long time, the really, really good ones were super expensive, and the cheap ones were all crap. And even if you did buy an expensive one, you still had to spend a lot of time diagnosing and troubleshooting and using G-code and slicers and a bunch of stuff that like regular people, they just don't care about. This printer is, I think, kind of one of the big game changers in the last 5 years or so in the 3D printing industry, because it's basically the iPhone of 3D printers. It's the Bambu Lab A1, and it is very affordable. Right now, it is on sale through Bambu Lab's website through December 3rd for a Black Friday promotion for $339. That's like almost nothing. And then with the AMS, automatic material system, you can print in multiple colors for not that much more money. Now, disclosure, Bambu Lab is a sponsor of this video, but they're kind of suckers because this is probably the printer I would have used anyways for this video, because this is one that truly is plug and play. You plug it in when you get it. There's an iPhone app or an Android app that you use to set the device up to your account, and then it goes through its own calibration system. It automatically levels the bed, it does vibration calibration adjustment. It takes a little while, but then it's done and it's like, okay, I'm ready. And then you don't have to go to the web and learn how to use a slicer, although we'll talk about that a little bit in the video. You can just use the iPhone app, find the model you want, push print, and then like you're done. That's literally it. It does its own extrusion calibration. You don't need to do first layer adjustments or Z offsets. If you don't know anything about 3D printers, you're going to be like, what on earth are you talking about? And if you do know about 3D printers, you're going to recognize how nice it is to not have to do that. This thing is killer. And well, we're going to use it to print a bunch of stuff for my desk. So let's get started. So there's this really popular project out there called Multiboard. It is, in effect, a 3D printed pegboard system. Not only is the grid itself printed that holds up all the tools, but so too are the screws and the attachment points for every hand tool and power tool on the face of the planet. Why is this relevant to cable management on your desk, you might be wondering? Well, nothing, and yet everything, because when someone has a good idea, the 3D printing community takes it, augments it, repurposes it, and improves it. And so somebody said, I love the pegboard design, but instead of tools, why don't we use it to manage cables on the underside of a desk? This is a great idea, and there are now cable channels and cable wraps that you can put on the underside of your desk inside of this grid system. So we're going to print all of that on all of our printers, but we first need help from a desktop application called a slicer. You see, 3D printers, they're not that smart. They just take plastic, melt it down, and spit it out in the direction that they're told to spit it out in. But we need to take our 3D models and turn that into the machine code that these printers can understand. And a slicer is an application that does that. So we drag all our 3D models in, and you can see a visualization of our build plate. We can drag the models however we want, we can arrange them, we can change the orientation, and then there's a bunch of other settings. What plastic type you want, because each plastic has its own attributes. We can choose the quality, how many layers do we want. The more layers we have, the finer the detail and the more resolution we can get, but the longer time it takes. We can go into strength and change how many wall loops, which makes our part stronger but less flexible. And there's just a bunch of other settings in here. When we're ready, we just push slice plate. And then when we slice the plate, it does, well, what it sounds like it does. It's going to tell the printer via a huge text document called a G-code file what to do. And we can actually see that real time. So if we tilt our plate, you will see that there are 65 layers here, and we can see this layer by layer by layer. But beyond going by layer, we can actually see in each layer, there is, at least in this layer, 1,047 directions. And we can see the little tool head visualized here in the background. But all it does is it says, hey, move this much on the x-axis, this much on the y-axis, and spit out this much plastic via the extruder along the way. That's all there is to it. But one of the great things I really like about the Bambu Lab printers is that oftentimes you don't need to use a desktop slicer at all because the rest of the community has already done that for you. If you go into the Bambu Lab app, you can search for something like a mid-century lamp. You tap what you want, you push prepare to print, you say, okay, I want to print it on this printer, and then you go to next, and then it says, okay, cool, what plastic type do you want? And you can change your plastic, you can change how fast you want it to go, and that's it. It's all done. Seriously, we'll push start print and see the results and fruits of our labors. Labors that we didn't have, because it did all of that. Good morning. It's the next day, and it's time to wake up to a bunch of new parts. Oh, yeah. Oh, and look at these. Oh, they've even got more. Ah! All right, so let's clear off this desk and flip it upside down, shall we? Get out of, this is the worst case ever. I hate AirPods Max. Oh no, see, this is why I hate adhesive. It just gets stuck on here forever. Never comes off. Until, it either comes off when you don't want it to, because the cable's too heavy. Oh great, yeah, no, this foam tape is flaky. Love that, that's awesome, great design. Now comes the question, do I leave on the power supply? And by that, I mean the extension strip. I do think I want to, and I also want to not really move this. Okay, this system is pretty cool. I do think I need one more, probably over there, because I'm going to leave this power strip and I want a HomePod further over on the table. But I can just start to get these screwed down, and then we can screw stuff to it. Nice. All right, now it is time to test my creation. So these little hexagonal things just sit inside the grid. So for my power supply mount, I just stick that there. Oh yeah, and that's in, like, oh my goodness, that's strong, that's sweet. And then for these little cable trays, I have these little hexagonal screws that I screw into each piece. So 2 on one side, and then I can snap it down. Nice, and then I take the lid once I've got my cables in, and I snap that. And like, it is so sturdy, but then when I want to get rid of it, I just pull it off, open it back up, and Bob's your uncle. This is cool. All right, let's cable wrap, baby. Okay, so I've got all the cable making devices hanging down, and now we just have to put them on the undercarriage. Oh, actually, this is too high for me to get off. Mom, I'm scared. Boy, there sure are a lot of parts. Look, we've got some of these little cable adapters where you can just set cables in temporarily. I think most of the stuff related to the Mac I'm going to put in here because the Mac is like the central nervous system, and all the devices that are attached to the Mac are going to change over time. I don't want to Fort Knox them up. But these cable raceways that are closed, I can put stuff in there that I'm probably not going to move for a long time, like power cables. So this studio display, this HomePod, I think we route those close to the center of the desk because the power strip's going to be over here, and we can just make a highway system where all the power cables avoid all of the data cables that are more open in the back of the desk. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. So I got some right angles that I want to deal with so I can put both of these power cables in their own little system. So the HomePod, let's put that baby right on the corner. Nice. And then let's put this one pretty close to it. Well, let's see, because I've got a T here, so I can put one there. There we go. Okay, yeah. And now, make sure they're tightened. Snap. Oh, that's so satisfying. Here it is. It is like Legos. You're like, where did I put that piece? Okay. Gonna be the best we're gonna do. Do we have a little twofer? Yeah, we got some twofers. Okay. We're gonna run out of parts. I did not think that was gonna happen.
I don't.
No, because you told me how many to print. You did. You know what? I'm kind of impressed. These channels are so smooth. I don't know if I have quite enough slack in the HomePod cable, but there's some extra over here. Check this out. I can pull it out just a little bit, even through these multiple bends, and it's all holding up quite nicely. Yeah, that's tight as it can be now. And now, oh yeah, we're gold. All right, so the system is pretty robust, but it's not bulletproof. I put one in at a slightly weird angle, tried to pull it back out, and one of the little screw heads snapped off. It's not a big deal, it's just plastic. We'll just print another one, screw it right on. One of the cool things about this particular piece of track is, as I've got 3 cables in here now, it's starting to get pretty beefy. Getting this 3-way cover on was really quite difficult. And so, what you can print and what the designer accommodated for, which is pretty darn clever, are lids with a greater Z depth. So if I put this one on, you're gonna see that I have tons of room in here, but it still butts up against the old style connectors just perfectly. There's just a little tiny gap. All right, well, I'm out of doodads. Those little nuts, I thought, well, surely I have enough of those, but I'm already out. I've got enough other pieces, I think, to finish the job, but I definitely need more of these twisty guys. And I guess the benefit to having a printer that is app controlled is that I can just pull up one of my old prints and say, go. And in about 3 hours, I'll have another 30 of them. Not too bad. Maybe I come back tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Never before have I worn so many outfits in a single video. This has taken forever, and yet the fruits of my labor have manifested themselves because, oh baby, the bottom of my desk looks fantastic. We've got those power cables in those enclosed raceways. We've got the data cables hanging on the hooks that I can easily add to or remove from. And then I've got all the rest of my, cable excess spooled up nearby the power strip at the end of the desk. And that's the great thing about this. It's modular. I can add to it. I can remove from it. It's so awesome. And I think the top side of the desk also looks pretty good. I've got this nice 3D printed lamp, this little HomePod planter, which is, yes, lacking a plant, but we'll work on that. And then this is a MagSafe puck so that I can put my phone in standby right beneath my monitor. And thanks to macOS Sequoia, I can also use screen mirroring while it remains in this mode. Super cool. And then, yeah, the desk is sit stand, and so I can walk on the treadmill, I can stand up, or as I do far too often, just frankly sit down on the desk. I'm super happy with the way this turned out. It was a beast to tackle. And now my office looks, no, it still looks like a grandma's room, but we'll work on that too. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.